9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome everybody to Real Rants. We're doing something a little different. This is the first time we're going to use Real Rants to kind of talk about movie reviews, stuff like that, new movies that we've seen coming out. So there's no video that you need to sit and watch. You can just press play, treat it like a podcast. You can just press play, have us on in the background. If you're eating, if you're just dicking around on the computer,
doing dishes,
yeah, whatever, you could just listen to us talk
or making love.
if that's what you want to do, and you want us talking over your special lovemaking sessions, well, you know, we'll be more than that. We are humbled to be included in that with you. But on our first edition of Real Rants reviews here. We're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok. Now, movie's been out for a while now. We probably should have gotten this review done. But I went to go see it. I went to go see it twice, actually. And I fucking love the movie. I don't know if it... I'd have to rewatch all the other Thor movies again. It's definitely miles better than Dark World.
You know what? I was actually thinking about this when I was driving over, and I had to say, yeah, out of all the Thors, this was absolutely my favorite, because the first Thor was basically it was based on the origin stories of how, you know, he needed to be humble among the humans.
Yeah.
The second one was more family orientated, where we got to see what Asgard was all about, and then this one coming up where we see Thor has grown, and you know, and even though it was a comedic movie, and it was supposed to make Thor look a little bit more foolish, but actually you get to see more of Thor being more of a strategist.
Yeah.
In it, and it's like it was just kind of like one of those things where he actually played the fool to become the warrior.
Yeah. No, like I was saying, I love this movie. I don't know. I'd have to watch the first one again. I really love the first one. I really love the humor of the first one. But, goddamn, this movie is just so much fun. I mean, right off the bat, like, we get into... he's cracking wise at the guy in the beginning.
Salter.
Yeah.
Salter, yeah.
And...
which Salter looked great, CGI-wise, by the way.
So he's... right off the bat, we're just getting this... you kind of know what you're in for with the movie. And you don't have to wait long before we hear Immigrant Song. I didn't actually think we would hear it in the movie. I thought they were just going to use it for the trailer. So that was awesome that we actually heard a little bit of Zeppelin.
Oh yeah, I mean
in the movie.
It just kind of drove the movie.
Yeah,
you know, it's
like literally the theme of the movie. Yeah,
and I remember one of my buddies was like, I like in the trailer. You would know the music probably better than I would, but like in the trailer, he goes, was it Rush? I might be wrong about that. I might be definitely wrong about that, and I apologize, Crawler. But he was saying something about like he goes. I'm surprised that they got the rights to actually do that in the movie, because I guess the group.
Oh, you're talking about the band? No,
yeah,
it's Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Led Zeppelin. Okay, like I said, sorry.
How dare you?
I know, right?
Oh God!
And I'm
get
not
out.
I'm not
get out.
I'm not gonna say it's a race thing, because I know there's plenty of black people who listen to
all white music sounds the same.
And I'm gonna go back into the. And I'm gonna go back to say, but it was just like it's very hard for them to get the rights to that song, and it fit.
Oh yeah.
And it fit, and I thought it was great. It was kind of like, it kind of felt like maybe they were trying to do like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
It had a very the tone of the movie felt very Guardians like. I'm not familiar with whoever directed this movie. Waititi, I think is his last name. It's something like that. I almost want to say Waikiki, but it's Waititi, I think, or God,
we're talking about director.
Yeah, the director. I know I'm butchering his name. I apologize. He's not listening. He doesn't give a fuck.
Waititi.
Yeah, but it did have a very Guardians vibe, and but for this movie, it worked. It looked like everybody had so much damn fun making it too. Yeah. Anthony Hopkins looked like he had a blast making it. Hemsworth, Hiddleston, even, and let me jump into it right now. I know we'll probably have a little bit of time to talk about this, but god damn Jeff Goldblum in this movie. Now he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything special. He basically showed up and was himself. But holy shit, that's all the movie needed. Just him being Jeff Goldblum in the movie is fucking hilarious. When he has Thor, no spoilers. When he has Thor latched into that chair, when he's tied down into the chair, and Thor's screaming because he keeps calling him the Lord of Thunder. He's like, "No, I'm the God of Thunder," and you see like little lightning bolts starting coming out of Thor's hands, and Jeff Goldblum is just standing there, and he just goes, "Wow, I didn't hear very much thunder, but were those sparkles that came out of your fingers?" And how he kept going on about, like, it's even in the movie when
I'll call him sparkles.
Yes, when he's introducing him in the arena during that big battle, he's like, "Watch out, he has sparkles." It's like, holy shit, I fucking love Jeff Goldblum in this movie.
And just so for the nerd reference, because he was the Grandmaster in this, and just for the nerd references, is like in Marvel there are 12. I think there's 12 cosmic beings in the Marvel universe, and Goldblum character, the Grandmaster, is one of them. You know, they're the ones. They're the Big 12. Like anything cosmic wise.
Is one of the other ones the Collector? The Benicio
Yes,
del
the
Toro?
Collector is actually one of them too. And I believe Galactus is one of them too, but that's a different story, and I'm going way off. But it's kind of cool to see the character being portrayed, finally being portrayed in the Marvel universe. And yeah, and Goldblum was an absolute delight as his character, because he barely took anything serious as far as what was going on.
Yes. And
I also like and speaking of the villains, I also like the sidekick, Topaz.
Oh yeah, with the melt stick.
Yeah, with the melt stick. Yeah, he's just like and she gives him the melt stick. He goes, what? He's like, why are you giving me the melting stick? He just interrupted me. He's like, I'm not gonna melt him because he interrupted me.
And even like the little subtle shit that he did, like with the where he was talking about his age, and he's like, on Earth I'd be millions of years old or something like that, but here I'm. And he just stops and gives like that little bit of a look. Oh, it kills me every time. And then also, I don't want to turn this into just blowing Jeff Goldblum here, but when Thor sees Loki, when he's still strapped in the chair, and he calls Loki over, trying to basically help him to get out. Mm-hmm. He's like, you got to get me out of here. You got to get me out of here. And Jeff Goldblum interrupts with what are you whispering about? And he's just right there. Oh my god, I died laughing in the theater. That, and at the end when they're flying away on his ship, on his orgy ship. And what's her name? Or Valkyrie. Mark Ruffalo hits the button because it's Ruffalo flying it. He doesn't know what the hell to do, so he hits a button, and Jeff Goldblum pops up on the thing like, "It's your birthday!" And like fireworks going off. Holy shit! Again, I lost it. Anything that man did in that movie was fucking just solid gold.
That was great.
The criminally seductive Lord of Thunder. I loved that line too.
Oh man. All right, so what would you say Thor Ragnarok? Basically, it was. God,
it was just a good time. Yeah, I cannot think of that movie and not smile.
It was basically Odin pretty much passing on the torch and making sure that the people were going to be, that Thor was going to protect the people once he was gone.
Yes.
Of course, Odin is the all-seeing. the All-Seeing, and it did take place after a little bit after Loki had taken Odin's place.
Yes, because they did that in the whole beginning, right, when Loki is as Odin has erected a statue in Loki's honor for sacrificing himself in Dark World. And they have the play, The Tragedy of Loki, going on. With so many great cameos in that, too.
With Matt Damon playing...
Matt Damon is Loki. Luke Hemsworth, the lesser-known Hemsworth, is Thor.
And then Sam Neill is playing Odin.
Yes. I remember we were at the theater watching that. And we're
looking at the faces.
And I'm like, is that fucking Matt Damon?
And I'm like, is that Sam O'Neill? And you're on your phone.
Yeah,
like,
immediately had to pull out my phone. And I'm like, holy shit, it is. That was funny. I'm like, I couldn't believe in a million years they'd get those two.
It was such a great surprise.
It's a cameo.
Yeah, it was such a great and fun surprise, and just how the play was just going on. And then you have, of course, Anthony Hopkins playing Odin, who is playing pretty much as Loki.
Yeah, he is pretending to be Loki as Odin, so he's just living it up, having a good time. When he sees Thor come in, though, I thought that was great. When he's all happy and then he sees Thor, he's like, "Oh shit."
You know what? I actually have a question for you, because, you know, as when Thor found out that that Loki was portraying Odin, and we missed the whole entire thing, but of something else. But let me get back to that. But when they was like, yeah, he goes, well, where did you put Odin? And he put Odin in an old folks' home on Earth.
Yes.
Shady Acres. Was it Shady Acres or Shady Oaks?
I think it was Shady Acres. I may be wrong. I'm pretty positive it was Shady Acres.
I was like, isn't Shady Acres like the Golden Girls?
That was Shady Pines.
Okay, Shady Pines. All right.
Yes, for all you out there, I fucking love me some Golden Girls. And the rest home that the mom was at in Golden Girls is Shady Pines. Mm-hmm. Any old folks home, it's Shady something. Yeah. Shady Oaks, Shady Pines, Shady Acres.
Because I know they talked about it a lot during the Golden Girls, and I just started busting out laughing because it's the first thing I'm thinking of.
But if it was Shady Pines, that would have been the best fucking crossover ever. Thor exists as the same world as the Golden Girls.
Oh, dude, that'd have been awesome.
That would have been great.
That would explain the pop figures that they have now. The Golden Girls.
Yes. Oh my God, they do?
Oh, yeah, they have pops of the Golden Girls.
Holy fuck. All right, yeah, I know this is talking about Thor, but I gotta get me the pops of the Golden Girls.
So, all right. So, getting back to like the beginning of Thor, like the fight scene, because we actually get to see how the hammer's being utilized against an army and stuff, and it's great. You know, he's swinging around, he's doing all this. But the part that really got us both, and I know we're like, ooh, it's like when he fought the dragon, and it was just like, oh, you know, he just drops the hammer, and the
dragon is just held there. I was like, oh damn.
I thought, oh my God, it's like, oh wow, that is really cool.
And that leads into that'll lead us into two other characters coming up here that I thought, again, were excellent in this movie. That was I can't remember the character's name, but it was Carl Urban.
Oh, Scourge.
Scourge. He was fucking great.
And I was like, Carl Urban looked like he was buffed up, because I barely recognized him with the shaved head and the...
I didn't recognize him at first, too, until I really looked at his face. I was like, oh shit, that's Carl Urban. And Kate Blanchett.
Oh my God, she was great.
She was great.
So great.
Oh my God. Again, I saw another review and I completely agree. She chewed the fucking scenery out of that movie. Not in a bad way, but in a, I'm just going to go into this and have a blast doing this and be this type of role without any limits. And oh my God, she was fucking great.
And I barely recognized her too.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I recognized her voice.
Yeah, with the dark hair. I go, wow, who does she remind me of? And with the dark hair, and every time she pulls it back, and with the spikes, and I was like, I'm kind of great that that they did such a great job with her.
I thought at first, because I didn't know it was Kate Blanchett at first, I thought it was Femke Janssen from.
I can see that
from the X-Men and Bond, and that's who I thought it was at first, until I heard the voice, and I'm like, wait, that has to be Kate Blanchett. That sounds like the Elf Queen from Lord of the Rings.
By the way, somebody just recently posted up like the whole picture with them, the Lord of the Rings, between their Thor picture and their Lord of the Ring picture. So it's hysterical. But
yeah, there was not a bad performance in that movie. Once again, Mark Ruffalo killed it.
Oh.
and spoiler towards the end when they're on and we just have to talk about Valkyrie too. But when him and Valkyrie are on that ship over the Rainbow Road, and the whole time, you know, where Mark Ruffalo Valkyrie and him knew each other on that planet on I can't remember, the Grandmaster's planet.
I can't remember what the name of the planet was.
But they had a friendship relationship on that planet when Ruffalo was just as the Hulk.
Right.
So when he turned back into Banner, she didn't know who he was, but she was like, "Oh, you seem familiar," and then he didn't know who she was, and like, "Oh, you seem familiar, like you seem familiar too." So at the end, during the end battle, they're hovering over the Rainbow Road, and Banner's like, "Oh, you know, you said you remembered me, or I seem familiar to you. You're gonna see who I really am," and he does this heroic dive off of the ship. To jump into battle, like you think he's going to instantaneously, you know, change into midair. He's going to hit the road and be all good to go.
Hit the furnace, Fenris.
Yeah.
The dog.
Yes. So he could fight the dog, and he was fucking just fucking slams right into the Rainbow Road, and you think he's dead. Like he just fucking ragdolls onto it.
Yeah.
It was so goddamn funny.
I was just like, oh my god, I go, this Banner dead? And then I remember the whole conversation. It's like, yeah, you know, I tried to commit suicide with the Hulk, and you know, it's like I put a bullet through my head, and the big guy just spits it out. Yeah. And then when I saw that, and then everybody in the theater just laughed their ass off. It was just so funny at the time, and
and then he eventually, you know, he falls off the edge. Then he eventually comes back, and he's Hulk and everything, but and starts battling the dog. But holy shit, that was just so damn. It was so much fun. And Valkyrie, I can't remember the actress's name.
Let's look it up.
Looking up stuff
I know.
On a phone because we don't have it ready at this time.
Oh man, this kind of sucks because now they have all the old people first. So let's see the see all button. And Valkyrie is played by Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson. She was awesome. She was great, and I love her introduction too. She comes flying in, looking like all badass in front of all like these like kind of like cannibal mongrel race of people that are trying to eat Thor. She flies in. She has like the fucking bottle of liquor in her hand. She takes a swig, chucks it. She's like, "He's mine." Does this badass walk down the ship and just fucking falls off the edge of it.
It was
all
so
drunk.
It was so great because I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, here we go. We're gonna go with the Guardians of the Galaxy entry where she just walks in, you know, looking all badass. Nope.
No, it went the complete opposite way. She's just fucking wasted, and just. But she did lay waste to everybody.
Right.
But they gave her a less than glorious entrance. It was a glorious entrance, but in a different way.
Yeah, because I love how she puts on a glove because I thought she was just going to physically fight all of them. It was like, nope.
Put on the power glove, the Nintendo Power Gloves, and we're just like,
right. He was like, you have technology, let's use it.
Yeah. One of the other things I liked about this movie, I mean, this is just going to be a big fluff piece for Thor Ragnarok. I don't think there was much of anything I didn't like about it. But I liked that they actually you were able to have a conversation with the Hulk now. Yeah. I think this makes the Hulk a lot more of a three-dimensional character you could have around. Like, he's not at that level where he's able to tap into his Banner smarts yet as the Hulk. But he's still able to have a conversation where he's still forming sentences and stuff.
Well, when Thor and Hulk are sitting up there and they're talking, and even when they're talking, they're still competing with each other. Like, you know, like we're both this fire, but, you know, Hulk's like, yeah, but I'm like this huge raging fire.
Hulk like raging fire. Thor like smoldering fire.
It's always a competition with them, but you know, they're the best of friends.
Yeah.
And you know, in this one, you actually get to see a kind of a I want to say a different side of the Hulk. You know, where he's
quite literally you see his ass at one point. You get a whole frame full of Hulk ass.
He was like, oh, and there's naked Hulk. And
I can't unsee that.
I can't unsee that. And it's just, it's like, Hulk gets a little butt shot there.
The other part I loved too, though, when he was the Hulk, was when Valkyrie came in, and she was gonna leave, and Thor's like, don't let her leave. She needs to stay. And Hulk just throws up. He's like, stay, please. This little please at the end of it always gets me.
But like you said, I kind of like their Valkyrie and Hulk's relationship because it was she was having fun with him and it was
fun with her.
Yeah, it was like a whole friendship kind of thing. Like
it almost seemed like a brother and sister relationship, right. Or even like just very good friends. Like she comes in to help him go train, and she's like, "Hey, what's up, big guy?" And him, "Oh, nothing, little girl." Like,
it was just it was definitely like a brother and sister kind of relationship.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it was just kind of funny because even Thor was trying to do the Black Widow's part, and
the sun's going down.
Yeah, the sun's going down, big guy, and he's trying to do the whole thing, and Hulk, all of a sudden, it seems like, oh, that was in the arena.
Yeah,
at first
he tried doing it.
Yeah, he tried doing it, and it just wasn't the same. And Hulk he's just pretty much beating the crap out of him.
And then he smashes him. I think that's the part where he ends up smashing him the same way he does to Loki. And Loki, who's sitting up in the box with the Grandmaster watching this whole thing.
It's like, I gotta get off this planet.
Yeah, when he sees Hulk show up, his reaction is great. He's like, holy shit.
And then again, one of my friends did point out, it was like, he goes, Loki's been in this planet for 2 weeks. How does he not know the Hulk is their grand champion?
Unless they maybe only fight like once every couple weeks.
Yeah, but his face is on the freaking mountain.
It is. It's on the fucking tower. But Loki just wants to party and all that sort of shit. Maybe he just wasn't paying that much attention to it. No, I thought that same way too.
One of the things that I've noticed about the cinematic universe is that there are times when they're not going to keep the same characters, and in reality they start to move on, because we in the movie, going back, we see that Odin is passing. Yeah. And he's explaining to the boys, to Loki and Thor, that look, I'm dying. I'm dying. There are things you need to take care of, and of course it's never just a spit out thing. It's always going to be cryptic. Yeah. To them, and that's when he explains how Hela, they have a sister Hela, who is she's basically goddess of the underworld, and I know in the books Hela is actually supposed to be Loki's daughter.
Yeah, they switched that around.
And they switch it up, and I'm as a fan, I was like, I'm completely okay with that. Cinematic's gonna have their thing, comics gonna have their thing. If it's slightly different, that's not a cause of major uproar. I'm perfectly okay with that. Like I said, Kate Blanchett did a wonderful job as Hela, and just like you said, like Carl Urban did as Scourge. Like the villains were fantastic in this movie. Yeah. And just getting back to the one part is like when there's one of the things that I was a little upset with is like, I realize, she's this big warrior goddess and stuff, but she plowed through the other warriors like butter. Yeah. Like butter, because I always loved I love, and these are spoilers, I love the Warriors 3, but she plowed through them like butter.
I felt bad. My favorite, I'm a big Ray Stevenson fan, mm-hmm. So when he went down, I was like, oh, I loved him as Punisher. I loved him as one of the Warriors 3. So I was a little depressed when he went down.
But they gave Heimdall, Idris, they gave him a bigger part. Yes. He had a bigger role to play, and which I enjoyed. But there was one scene in particular that I love, and I think you loved it too, is when she's talking to Scourge, because Scourge is basically just a bumbling idiot. Yeah. And he told him like flat out, it's like, pretty much, I'm just a janitor. Yeah. And he was just this bumbling idiot, and his whole thing was, survival. So when she's sitting up in the chair, and she's like, so where do you see yourself in, a few years? Or like, what do you want to do with your life? And it was so funny because it was like a job interview and how she just presents herself. And it's just like, it's hilarious.
She asks him, she's like, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you think he's going to go on this big, like, monologue about how, like, his life has been shit and everything is... well, my father did this, and she's like, no, just stop right there. I don't care about any of that. Like, what do you want to be? Like,
yeah, it was hilarious.
Like you said, it felt very much like a job interview. Like, I don't give about any of that shit. Just where do you see yourself in the grand scheme of things?
Because she needed an ally. She needed somebody she could trust.
Yeah,
and she saw that in him, and she was trying to train him. You know?
But I did like that he didn't go full. He didn't go full dark side Anakin.
Oh yeah.
Let me turn on a light in here. It's starting to get dark. You know what? I think there's a light switch over here. Hang on 1 second. Turning on lights. Turning on lights.
This is real rage after dark.
But no, and but I like that he didn't go full dark side Anakin. You could tell he wanted, his whole thing was he wanted recognition and affirmation.
Right.
But he didn't like what she was doing, and he tried to go with it and to be as reluctant to it as possible, but still just kind of go along with it. And I kind of felt for that character a little bit. I could see how you want to have all this power, and maybe not so much power, but you want your life to be meaningful. But then you see you finally get your chance, and it's not
what you want.
It's not what you want, but you still kind of go along with it.
It's quite not what you expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the stuff about Odin and Loki and all that stuff, and I just want to take a minute to talk about, not only is this movie just it's, I don't want to say laugh a minute, but not only is it really funny, there's a lot of heart in with this stuff. There's a lot of heart in this movie when it comes to Loki and Thor, where we see, they alluded to it towards the end when they're going up that elevator, that, you know, Loki or Thor's come to peace with him and Loki's relationship. He kind of has resigned himself to the fact that they are who they are. They're not going to change, but he still loves him as a brother. And you could almost see a sort of, I don't want to say character shift in Loki, but it seems like somebody who, like, because he's still, even after all that, still set up his brother to get caught so he can get out.
Right. Because it's just Loki's nature. Loki's always going to be Loki. And like you said, Thor's already accepted that. Because it's just like every time that when they imprisoned Thor, you know, Loki would come and visit him. And because Loki has been on the, like I said, Loki has been on the planet for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before Thor had landed on it. And even, you know, when Loki came to visit him, he's like, it's like, so why do you even care? He goes, you're not even here. You know, because Loki always likes to use the illusion, you know, that he's there. And they're trying to comfort each other after the loss of their father. Yeah.
And I like that. And you know, it's again, maybe I have to go back and see the third time and really pick up on a lot more of that stuff. But, because it was a very humorous movie, but they did squeeze in some heartstrings kind of moments in there, and I liked at the end too when Thor is really just doubting himself, and Hela's basically beating the shit out of him, and he gets that vision of his dad, and you know he's going to his dad very much like, I can't do this, you know, I can't do it without my hammer, and the dad's like, what are you, you know, are you the god of hammers? and then he, you know, he's like, I'm not as strong as you. He's like, no, you're stronger. God damn, it felt like a very Rocky moment to me. Like, oh, he's gonna come back, and then obviously he's gonna come back, and he's gonna fucking lightning bolt hits Ella, and then we hit the Led Zeppelin music again.
It's like, I didn't call you the god of. It's like you're not the god of hammers. It's just like, you know, it's like that was just you know, the hammer was just a tool to focus your power.
Yeah.
He goes, you're powerful in yourself in your own righteous way, and so it kind of showed every time he got mad or like, it was always kind of the moments when he thought of his dad. Yeah. And so he wasn't as powerful as Hela, because Hela was powerful as hell.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, pretty much, and she was powerful for hell. And I got caught in a thought right there. And at the moment, it was just kind of like, all right, this is a way for Marvel to do zombies because everybody's doing zombies, but they didn't focus on the undead too much. It was just like a tool that she needed to control Asgard, because there was every time she was more powerful she was mostly powerful when she was on Asgard.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those movies where things were already in motion, and he had to think about it, and how it was just, she was just powerful as hell, and they had to find some way to take her out. And so when you saw Surtur and they talk about the flames and stuff, it didn't really click until towards the end of how everything was gonna transpire. He goes, it's already begun. It's
Ragnarok saying like it wasn't about preventing it; it was actually about causing it. Yeah. And I thought that was cool.
It was inevitable to happen. We was just like, and then they were just like, well, Asgard is just Asgard is not the land; it's the people.
It's the people.
So when he saved the people, and I go, that kind of makes sense. You're sitting up there, you lose your home, and it's just it was like you said, it really was kind of a tearjerker.
Yeah.
But you have to think about everything, because even with Valkyrie. She talked about, because she's supposed to be the last of her, I don't want to say kind, because she's Asgardian.
Yeah.
But, she was the last of her tribe or something like that.
She was the last
of her clan.
She was the last of the Valkyries, I think.
So, because in the story, they explain that how the Valkyries were there, how they were there when they imprisoned Helga in another kind of like a pocket dimension.
Yeah, something like that. And she ended up coming back. But no, the movie was just it was just phenomenal, and then of course the ending stingers, setting up for Thanos. But the one thing we forgot to talk about is another character in the movie that shows up briefly. Is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And again, it's just beautiful. Everything just works in the movie, and his moment in there, especially when he interacts with Loki, I thought it was the best. When Loki's like, "I've been falling for a half hour," and
that was hilarious.
And then he gets up. And he's about to fight Doctor Strange, he wants a piece of his ass.
And Strange is like, nope.
He's like, nope, okay, bye. And just sends him across the world.
And it's because, yeah.
And I'm like, that's a beautiful showcase of Doctor Strange's powers, where he doesn't need to fight. So, okay, bye. Just go away.
Because, it's kind of funny, because, and then I realized this, is like by all rights, Loki is more powerful than Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because, anytime, we get together and we talk to the nerd herd or whatever, they're my friends, and we get to talk about all rights, he's more powerful than Strange, but at the same time, it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, you just got to kind of let it happen. I mean, they're not just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to totally break out of this. And I think that's what Doctor Strange realized, is like, it was like, all right, because like you said, Loki was about to pull his knives and make him into a pincushion, and Doctor Strange is like, no, not gonna handle this. He's like, you got your information, you got what you need, goodbye,
get out.
So, and it was kind of funny that they used that piece of the movie, because we saw that. I think we saw that.
It was at the end of Doctor Strange.
It Doctor Strange, because I remember the whole. The
beer
thing and it just kind of refilled, and Thor's like, yeah,
hell yeah. Every guy in the theater was like, fuck yeah, when they just refilled.
And then, but also we got to see her Mjolnir as an umbrella.
Oh yeah, that was a callback to was it an old show that used to be on, or was it or is it a callback to the comics?
Well,
I'm not as fluent with the comics as I am to everything.
It was a cane. It was a cane.
It was a cane.
Yeah, because Thor used to transfer him down a lake.
Yes, that was it. Yeah,
and I know that the movies, the Son of Skyrim, have gotten rid of the alter ego kind of thing of that, and but they did play homage in the first Thor for him, and then in getting back, and they talked about what happened with Jane. that him and Jane had broken up. So that was kind of like, it was nice to let them, to fill in the pieces of like what happened.
What happened instead of her just being off somewhere.
Right.
No, they split up. And now I don't know. Do you know anything behind the scenes about that? Did Natalie Portman, was she only contracted for the 2 movies? Or did she have like no desire to come back to do a 3rd one?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what happened with that. I haven't heard anything about it. I thought Kate Dennings was supposed to be in the 3rd movie.
Okay.
I thought her character was supposed to be in the 3rd movie, and they didn't even use her because I know they've used the guy who played the Doctor in the other ones because he was I think he was Loki's pawn for a bit, okay. And then he helped him out with I think he helped him out in was it the 2nd Avengers, because that's when Thor had his vision.
Oh, you're talking about what was the actor's name? Skarsgård?
Yes.
Skarsgård?
Yeah. And that's when he had the helped him have his vision.
Yes. Because he was like insane in Thor 2. Because of all the stuff that happened in the first Thor movie and then the Avengers. And then, he was kind of insane.
Right.
Running around fucking naked at one point, like, in Thor 2.
So many pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah. I would like to see what's going on with him. Because I liked his character in the movies. I thought he was good. We didn't need the whole romantic thing. I mean, they kind of alluded to it a little bit with Valkyrie and Tessa Thompson. Although I don't know if you picked up on it a little bit too. The way she was talking about the way Hela ripped through her fellow Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I picked up a little bit of a not so much lesbian but bisexual vibe with her. That it seemed like she the loss of the one who in the flashback spoilers in one of the flashbacks that we see the Valkyrie fighting Hela, one jumps in front of Tessa Thompson to sacrifice herself to save her from being killed, and it seemed like taking that really hard. And I just picked up, and the way her demeanor is about the whole movie and wanting to completely ignore that stuff about her life. I don't know. I kind of picked up a kind of like, maybe she had a relationship with that one Valkyrie.
I could see that. I could see that.
I mean, because she's totally into Thor, and that's why I think she's not straight on, gym teacher lesbian.
Right.
Gym
teacher lesbian. Miss Man.
No offense to any gym teacher lesbians out there, but you know what I mean. But no, I picked. I don't know if that was something. I don't know if I was reading a little too much into that, or if it was a subtle kind of like a nod to that maybe she had a relationship with her, and they were kind of going that route. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to see it again.
Yeah, it made me. It's not something to where they threw it in there where it's easily picked up upon. It was just a vibe that I felt, and I was like, I wonder if they were kind of alluding to that fact that maybe she had a relationship, or at the very least, maybe not like anything romantic, but at least maybe a very close friend relationship with that specific Valkyrie. Because like I said, she even in the flashbacks, it looks like she took it really hard when that one sacrificed herself.
All right. So now that we're getting pretty much through all the things, I'm going to ask you the big question is like the biggest complaint about the Thor movie was, did you think it was too comical? Because that was the biggest complaint, was that it was just too. It was way too much.
It was way too. I think it leaned maybe a little too much onto the Guardians style of doing things.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think they needed to switch it up because Thor: Dark World was it was boring. It was. I don't want to say it was boring. Right. It was just meh. It was very just bland. It was very vanilla.
So, yeah.
And the original Thor movie was good, and that had a lot of humor in it.
Yeah.
And they kind of toned it down for Dark World, and it just kind of it just didn't work. Like I said, it felt very vanilla. And so I like the fact that did they dial it up a little too much? Probably. But I don't think it was a detriment to the movie. I think it worked really well.
Yeah, I think it kind of looked like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of
had that vibe.
Element. I mean, but
even in the marketing of it.
Yeah, oh yeah. And to me, it kind of worked because they needed to do something with it. Because, like you said, the second one was blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit. Like, if they had done another Thor Dark World, nobody would give a shit about Thor anymore. This, literally, like, I think this has made more money. It's had to have made more money than Thor Dark World already.
And plus, they tied
breathed new life into it.
Oh, yeah, and plus they tied in Hulk with Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm already looking for, like, the figures and stuff. Because Planet Hulk was, like, one of my favorite series out of the Marvel books.
You know that toy is going to be on Christmas shelves.
Yeah, I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
Because now we sort of don't get to see a Planet Hulk, but but we did get to see some elements like the fighting, and we got to see Korg.
Yes.
Hey, Korg and Myth.
I'm Korg.
and I didn't know what to make of Korg at first, and I just thought it's funny. It's just like he was a warrior, but at the same time he just kind of kept it real.
Yeah.
In his own little way. He's like, we're just going to start a rebellion. And so I thought that was a trip.
Oh, yeah, this thing here, it's like a circle. But not like a circle, like a weird circle.
And one of the other things that I want to bring up is like, I love the movie poster.
Yes.
The artwork for the movie poster.
It's just awesome to look at.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing... I'm not going to say it's anything like... It's nothing like Da Vinci or anything like that.
Right.
But... It's just, there's a symmetry to it, and the way they use the colors and everything, it's beautiful. Although I had to laugh every time, I do laugh every time I kind of see it. It reminds me of a reggae album. Like, I expect to hear that, like, yeah, man! Like, you hear the steel drums kicking in. But no, it is just the color and the organization of it. It's beautiful. Oh, you have the Hulk on top, and like the antlers kind of mixed in with everything, then you have Thor. It doesn't feel too loud or too all over the place. Because
to me, I mean, for me to come into your movies, like if I'm walking past a movie theater or something, I do like to look at the movie poster and stuff. But like to me, it just seems like the artwork for the movie posters have been kind of lazy.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of the same features, and somebody has actually even pointed out. You can see a lot of the same details in another movie poster. It's just like,
oh yeah,
it's so lackluster.
Everybody follows the same trends, like, and not like, no, none of you guys can see this here, but I got a Thor cup from Regal Cinemas, and on it is Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the same pose. You see every fucking pose on a movie poster. It's always this half shoulder cocked to the side, looking down like I'm a fucking badass. And I get tired of seeing that shot. I saw it with Mark Wahlberg with Shooter. It's now with Thor. I've seen it with I even think they did it with Lincoln at one point for a movie poster. He's kind of looking down, like, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I've seen it with Captain America.
You see it with every kind of superhero thing, and it's a cliche, and I think a lot of it is, a lot of these people, like especially now with Marvel, they do all their stuff in house. So they probably have, if not the same person, it's probably the same group of people working on these posters. What I would like to see, I would love for them to go back and start doing movie posters in the style of the comic books.
Ooh.
Big loud title, an action thing, like an action shot from the movie, or it doesn't even necessarily need to be in the movie, but like the hero like in a pose and a villain in a pose and maybe a couple other people down, but make it look like you're fucking Marvel. Make it look like your old comic book covers, but do it as a movie poster. I think that would look sweet.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if that's kind of what they are doing, but I would go full on, like, have the little Marvel tab thing up on the top corner, have the name of the movie across the, like, bannered, like, across the top, and have, like, the little stinger lines, like, across the side, like, as it met his, Has Thor met his match like in the thing like
or like some kind of action pose.
Yeah, like I would go to the nines with it. Just maybe not main posters, but like special edition posters that they hang up, like a theater can hang up. Like that's what I would love to see. That's just the designer in me though. But no, Thor. I mean, it's been slaying it at box office. You know, I work at the theater. We were still selling out of shows. I mean, they don't have as many they don't have as many showtimes anymore as they used to. Yeah. 'Cause it's been out for almost a month, but it's still killing it at box office. And what I think is going to happen, and I heard this on another review thing too, because you brought up the humor thing, and yeah, they probably leaned a little too much with the humor, but I think that's because we're about to see another shift with. I mean, we're going to get Black Panther in February,
right?
But I think that's going to probably play out a lot like how Captain America stuff was, or even this. There's going to be some humor in it. But I think once Thanos arrives, shit's about to go down and shit's about to get real.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're going to see... I mean, we already saw the fractured... The Avengers are fractured.
I think we're going to see a lot of changes when Infinity comes out.
I think we're going to see a lot of death. I think we're going to see at least one or two characters get knocked off.
Yeah, because, I think you're right. And then one of them rumored to be Captain America.
I wouldn't doubt it. And then maybe Bucky taking over. If they follow the comics, it would have to be Bucky taking over for Cap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where I think that's why they're doing a lot of this humor now, because once Thanos arrives, shit's gonna get real. Yeah. It's gonna go down and it's gonna get dark.
And we got 2 of those movies coming out. So yeah, because I know Panther's coming out,
which I'm looking forward to that.
Panther's coming out. Affinity is coming out, and I think is Ant-Man and Waltz coming out next year too. I know they've been working on that movie.
I don't know. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
I know they've been working on Ant-Man too. But yeah, I'm really looking for. I'm looking
Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Captain Marvel. That has to be coming out after Infinity Wars. The only ones I know of right off the bat are Black Panther for February, and then Infinity War Part 1 in June, or no, in May. I think it comes out in May.
Yeah, May is their big week. Always have been the weekend, the first weekend of May.
Yeah. So, I mean, so far Marvel hasn't done anything disappointing. Looking back, we could look back and say, yeah, Thor Dark World was kind of disappointing. I think there was another one in there that we look back on and be like, it wasn't that great. But, I mean, they got their plan, and they've been going with it, and it's been successful. And yeah, unlike another movie studio that we'll be talking about here shortly. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap this show up. This first edition of Real Rants. Hit that like button below. Hit the subscribe button below. If you agree or disagree with what we thought, our views of the movie, feel free to leave a comment below. Leave a comment for us. We'll try to respond back to it.
Kindly,
yeah,
if we can.
Kind comments, please. Keep the trolling to a minimum. I know it's the internet, but yeah, if you agree or disagree, leave a comment in the section below, and we'll get back to you. And yeah, we'll catch you around. Our next review is going to be Justice League, so look out for that one, and we'll see you later.
Adios.
All right, peace out.